Hello, everybody. This is Howard, the Teaserking, coming to you with the NFC AFC Championship games. Um, Two good games, I feel. Um, a couple ways you can play the teasers in this. I'm going to give you a couple of options. I've already put it on the site. It's been a strange playoff. The NFC have been doing well. The AFC has been like you don't know what to expect. Um, just recapping it, KC, Mahomes. I don't care. All right, the concussion I'm not worried about. It's the toe that I'm worried about. He didn't look good. He couldn't throw once he hurt the toe. I don't know if it's an injury that heals in a week. I don't think so. I'm sure he'll shoot it up. It's a championship game. Um, that's the big. And then Chocolate Eclair hasn't played. He's injured. That hurts some. They haven't really been covering. Um, they let Cleveland stay in the game, and they're kicking a lot of field goals. So KC's not right now. Um, Buffalo looks like superstar. The way they handled Baltimore. Well, I wasn't surprised that Lamar Jackson sucked because it's a playoff game and it's playing a good team, and he can't throw the ball, so that was not a surprise. They did score on their defense, putting up 17, but it was really windy. So they've been looking good offensively. So I look for Buffalo to certainly keep this game close. Let's look at the line. I got KC laying 354. My line was KC -3. Again with Mahomes. If Mahomes isn't injured, it may be a 5 or a 6. But he's not 100%. Josh Allen is, although he's a choke. So let's see how he plays in the big game. He's never been one to really be good against the blitz. So I definitely will see a lot of blitzes by Kansas City. That's his weakness. Like Lamar Jackson, you blitz him, he can't read it, and he doesn't know to dump it down and get rid of the ball quickly, and he wants to run all the time. Where Mahomes or Allen, let's see how he is, but that's his weak point is the blitz. But he's got such good receivers that they make up for it. So let's go into the numbers. So basically, KC is a home favorite, and they are lousy as a home favorite this year. They're 4-4 against the number, only 12-4 with the number, which is unusual for a top team to not be like 14-2 at this point or 15-2. And they're 7-1 bet against as a home favorite, 14-3 bet against overall. So KC they've been winning a lot of games by a touchdown, very close games that they have no business being close in. I don't like how they changed their offense. They now are running the ball more, but you got Mahomes and you got Hill and you got Kelsey. You don't run the ball. So again, Andy Reid's overcoaching himself. Stick with your stars. Stick with the offense that's good. Now, I do agree you need to run it once you get to the red zone. You can't throw it in from the 5. There's no room, or the 10. So you do need running there, but I think he's running way too much and getting off tempo. They're not blowing out people with it they should. They let the Raiders beat them and then hang around, and they just haven't looked very good. Buffalo, on the other hand, is 2-0 as a road dog. 17-1 this year, 94% betting on Buffalo. 11-7 against. If you go back to 19, Buffalo 9-0 as a road dog, 31-4. Look at Buffalo, 90%, 31-4, 19-20 together. The last 35 games. Road dog 5-4. KC 10-6 as a home favorite, 28-8 all together. They were hot last year, and then 12-4 bet against as a home favorite. So they're really not that strong of a home favorite, such as a Who's a really good home favorite? I don't think there's. I'm not really seeing any really strong home favorites at all. Tennessee, I guess, is the best at 10-2. Baltimore used to be a great home favorite, not anymore. There's more bet against home favorites. San Diego 11-0, Seattle 13-3, Philly 10-1, Chicago 7-1, Tampa Bay 10-1. So you got a lot more teams that you can bet against as a home favorite than you really can take. So a home favorite is not a strong where you're looking in a teaser. If I go back to 18, KC 19-7 is a home favorite, 18-8 against. KC is 43-11 overall the last 3 years, which is strong. Buffalo 14-3 road dog, 42-9 overall, 82%. So right now my play is take Buffalo in the 9. You've got a very strong team in a teaser, Buffalo. They've got it all. They can run, they can pass, they get behind. When Baltimore gets behind, you're dead, right? Lamar Jackson can't do anything, but Buffalo can score, and they can score on Kansas City, and they've got a good defense. They look like they have a good coach, but I'm not sure. We'll see. KC, the quarterback's injured. He's the key to the team. Chad Henne's not gonna beat you. I'm not worried about the concussion, as I said, but I am worried about the toe. So we'll see if they freeze it up, but they probably will. They'll probably numb it before the game, and he'll play. But still, if I was a guy on Buffalo, I might step on the toe. Oops, sorry. That's what they used to do in the good old days of football. They'd know the injury, and they made sure they hit it. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Well, let's look at the other team stat that I like. So Buffalo 31. They score 31. They give up 23. They're an A team. A team's a strong team with a strong offense and a strong defense. They throw for 300 a game. They run for 108, which is not great. Their overall offense of 400 is very strong. And if they throw it to the back, it's a passing yards, but it's really a run play. So you got to see how much of that they do, where they kind of just hit the running back for 2 yards, and then they go from there. So Buffalo definitely scores a lot. They have a good defense, and they definitely get a lot of yards. So that's very key. And then we'll look at Kansas City. They score 30 and give up 23, so it's almost identical. They're also an 8 team. They throw for 312 and they run for 112, so they get 425 a game. So they have, this should be an offensive game, but Kansas City hasn't really been scoring. What did they get? 22-17 with Cleveland. I mean, okay, Mahomes didn't play the fourth quarter, and that's the only game they've been in. So Buffalo has not played over game. Well, 17-3 in the win in Buffalo. Forget the snow. If you see a snowy game, it's not an under. You see a windy game, it is an under, because it's very hard in the wind. Against Indy, Buffalo, it's 27-24. Was a 51. And really it should have been a 10-10, well, let's say a 10-6 game last week, because they really only had one offensive touchdown, and then the other was the interception in the end zone. That if it's a real quarterback and not Jackson, okay, he throws it away, they kick a field goal, it's 10-6. They missed 2 field goals, so it should have been like a 13-10 game because Buffalo missed a field goal too. So that's what you're looking at there. So it's hard to go over. Not sure of the weather. I mean, again, if it snows, not a problem. If it's real windy, it's an under. So look at the weather in the morning. I'm only playing Buffalo plus the 9. Anytime you get 2 A teams playing each other, 99% of the time you tease the dog, and 99% of the time that's a winner, and probably more than 50% of the time the dog wins. Like Tampa, New Orleans last week. I had Tampa it was a dog. I teased the dog in a versus A, and Tampa gets the win. I just wanted them to stay close. Now I see that Drew Brees had a torn rotator cuff, which would have been nice to know. Uh, you read all these injury reports. I didn't see rotator cuff on any of them. Um, I knew he had hurt his ribs, but and that's why he couldn't throw more than 20 yards was the torn rotator cuff. So I think he's retiring, and it's too bad. He's a great quarterback. They'll probably have Taysom Hill next year. Knowing the coach, they'll probably draft a good quarterback in the third or fourth round, who will be a superstar. But I love the New Orleans coach. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can't believe it. But very strong team, New Orleans. But again, with Brees out, well, Taysom Hill was out too, and he can't trust Winston. He throws too many interceptions, so I can see why he went with Winston. But if Hill was there, he probably would have played more and thrown some more long passes. Um, but anyway, generally when A teams play each other, it's a dog. So that's where they're at. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, throws for 316 a game. Oof. Very, very, obviously very, very strong. Sacked 22 times. So he's a star. We all know that. He's the best. Let's look at Buffalo. Josh Allen throws for 284 a game, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, sacked 26 times. So they're not blitzing him enough because from what I watched at Wyoming, as soon as you blitzed him, he caved in. And I don't think he understands how to move around in the pocket like Brady does. And I think he wants to run too much. You cannot win with the running quarterback, which these quarterbacks don't do. Mahomes is not a running quarterback, but he runs when he needs to. He could run, but he's not a running quarterback like a Lamar Jackson or some of these guys coming up just want to run, and most of them get injured. But you run to escape on a 3rd and 10, but you shouldn't be running an option play, and that's where Mahomes got hurt. What the hell are they doing running Mahomes on a 3rd and 1? And that's when he gets concussed. You can't run him. You got running backs. Use the running backs, or throw a quick little pass to Kelsey. But you can't. You don't run your quarterback. That's why you don't run your quarterback. The injuries. So anyway, that's what you have. You got a strong game. You got two strong teams. You got Buffalo, who covers every week. Kansas City, who's very weak as a home favorite. So take Buffalo and the 9. Next game, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Green Bay laying 3.5. A lot of minor injuries on Tampa. Everybody's banged up, but in the championship game, it's like the Super Bowl. Everybody plays unless you got a broken ankle, and you can't. But even Terrell Owens played with a broken ankle. So in this game, everybody plays on Tampa. You got Tom Brady. Tom Brady understands the pressure, and they did beat Green Bay very handily the first time, so they know how to beat Green Bay. Yes, you could say New Orleans knew how to beat Tampa, but you have Brees' injury. If Brees isn't injured, they probably win because they threw a couple of interceptions that gave Tampa a short field. Green Bay, on the other hand, against Tampa just destroyed them, and that's the same matchup. Let's go into the numbers again. So you got Green Bay 7-2 as a home favorite, 14-3 overall, and that's what you expect from a 1 seed. That's why I'm so surprised KC's 12-5. Green Bay 4-5 against as a home favorite. Who we got? Tampa Bay 1-1 as a road dog with Brady. They're 14-4 overall, and they had a rough start. So probably from the middle of the season, they're probably like maybe 13-2 if I just looked at the last 15. But I just sum it all up. if I go back now here, if I go back to 19, I have to use New England almost as Brady. I can't really look at Tampa Bay as a road dog without Brady, although they are 7-2 as a road dog, and they're very good as on the road. They're 16-3 on the road, 19-20, which is very good. So they're a good road dog anyway. Green Bay 14-4 is a home favorite, 12-6 against. So they're good at home, but they're not great at home for a 1 seed. I would expect them to be 13-1 as with that team. So again, not a lot in the trend. Tampa's a good road dog. Obviously, they won at New Orleans. And again, it's hard. So if I go back to 18, I don't even know if this was the year Rodgers got hurt or not. They're 18-7 as a home favorite, 16-9 against. It's nothing. Tampa's 13-4 as a road dog, and 38-12 overall. So Tampa's just a good road dog anyway. The cold will not bother Brady, and it's not going to bother them. Now a wind would, an ice bowl game would, where you can't get traction. That would kill Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they both are very balanced teams. Let's go into the my first look. So Green Bay's 32-23, scores 32 a game, gives up 23. They throw for 268 a game and run for 132. So remember with Allen and Mahomes, they throw for 300 yards a game and only run for 100. Here you got Green Bay throwing for 268 and running for 132. So they get 400 yards a different way. This is much more effective if you can run the ball, and you still got Rodgers anytime he wants it. Again, 32-23, so it's a good defense. It's not a great defense, and they scored the 32. And then Tampa scores 31 and gives up 22, so they're a point better defensively and a point worse offensively. No big deal. Again, all of these teams are A teams. None of the weak teams are here, which is normal. They throw for 300 a game and only run for 95, so they get 395 in total offense, which is the worst of all four. But again, Brady, like this is New England, a lot of his passes were runs where he'd hit Edelman for 5 yards. Here you got Ronald Jones, and I like how Leonard Fontenot, the kid from LSU, we all know him. He's really coming on. So they can score inside the red zone. That's what you want the running. It gives what it does when you run. It does three things. It rests your defense. It tires out the defensive line of the other team, and it lets you score in the red zone, because when you're at the 5-yard line and it's first and goal, you are not going to throw it in. You can throw your fade, or you can throw those corners or a post pattern, but you're looking at 7 men in a zone in 10 yards of the end zone. You're not scoring very often. But if you can run the ball, it doesn't matter. You spread your receivers out and then you run it. And good luck stopping it if you have good running backs, which you can't. So that's the point of the running. But most importantly are the first two. It rests your own defense because you're slowly taking the ball down, and you're tiring out the defensive linemen who are being blocked, and then they got to tackle, and they versus just rushing the quarterback. It's a different thing. So that's what you have with these teams. So Green Bay can do it as well as Tampa Bay. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So with the running, so you have it for both sides, so that'll be balanced. Both offenses are balanced. Quarterback edge, you got Brady and Rodgers is dead even. This is an A versus an A. This is take the dog also. Let's go to go to the quarterbacks. Again, we know what we're getting. Tom Brady, 40 touchdowns and 12 picks, which is amazing with the new team and no training camp that he's 40 and 12. And the 12 are early on, and if he would have had a training camp and played a few games in the preseason, it probably would have been 45 and 3 or 4. Throws for 290 a game, sacked 21 times. Aaron Rodgers throws for 268 a game, 48 touchdowns and 5 picks. So that's what Brady would have been, and he was sacked 20 times. So it's a dead even game. The fact it's in Green Bay doesn't really matter. The cold weather, Brady played in New England, it's not going to matter. I'm not worried about the receivers. Again, if it's a very windy day, then it becomes a running game, and you still take the points, but you bet it under. As far as over/under, I'm probably thinking this game with these two quarterbacks goes over. Neither defense is super strong. They give up 22-23 a game. Both teams will score in the 20s for sure, and then they both score in the 30s. And with these teams, I definitely think this would be an over game if wind permitting. So if it's a calm day in Green Bay, maybe some snow, but that shouldn't be a problem. I definitely think this is an over. Buffalo, KC, you need, so that's where you go, maybe Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and if you want to play a 3-team teaser, you go Tampa Bay over, and Buffalo. But I don't trust the KC Buffalo over. It's 54 until I know about Mahomes. And, with his injury, they might run the ball more, which takes the time off the clock, which doesn't make it an over game. But both teams are capable of scoring in the 30s. And when you look at a 50, let's look at the Tampa Bay, Green Bay's 51. So you tease it down to 45, and then you do the math, and you go, well, that's 24-21. And you're like, well, both these teams will get in the 20s. I'm not expecting, neither team has the defense to shut out the other team. You're not looking at a Rams defense, Baltimore's defense that really can stifle you. New Orleans has a good defense. They give up 21 a game, and Tampa scored 30 on them. But again, they got a couple of turnovers and short fields on the interceptions. See, that's what makes the overs and unders. It's the turnovers and where they happen. If you get a turnover going in, so you're at the 5-yard line going in for a touchdown and you fumble, that kills an over because now the other team's got the ball at the 5, got to drive 95 yards. You didn't score. And if they get a first down and punt, now you get the ball at your own 30 and you're driving the field again. The more drive is the field, the more it goes under because it takes time away and you didn't score. And now if the turnovers happen like last week in the Tampa where they pick it off at the other team's 10 or 20-yard line or pick sixes or punt returns, then you get an over game. See, you get a pick 6, it doesn't take time off the clock or a punt return. So that's like a free 7, right? You didn't have to drive the field and you get it in. So it's really, you're looking for all the reasons to go over or under. And here I'd say the biggest one's going to be the win. So no win. Tampa Bay, I love the over there, and I love Tampa the 9.5. They already played Green Bay and really pounded them. And I think they'll do the same thing where they blitz Rodgers and Brady and his receivers. You're not going to stop. Green Bay doesn't have the defense to stop Brady. So if this game does get high scoring, there's no way this game should not be close. This game should be a 30-27, and I couldn't tell you the winner. I won't be surprised if Brady wins because he's a winner. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers wins. I don't know. I kind of think Tampa's got a better defense than Green Bay, which is what wins these games. But neither of the defenses are superstar defenses. Like I said, like the Ram, Washington had a real good defense. Miami, I think, and Pitt, those type of defenses. But again, it's a matchup thing. So Brady will pick them apart. Rodgers will pick them apart. Should be a lot of points in that game. So there's your teaser. Take Tampa 9.5, Buffalo and 9. Tampa over, Buffalo 9. Whatever you want. The Buffalo KC. Wait for the weather, and wait for Mahomes. Now, normally, if Mahomes is healthy, this game should go over 48, 28, 21, and you're not holding Buffalo under 21 in this game. And Kansas City, if Mahomes is healthy, you're not holding them under 28. But after what I saw last week, I don't know if Chad Henne's coming in or not. So I'll take Buffalo in the 9. Um, National championship game. I had the over in the Ohio State Alabama game. Um, I thought that was the easiest pick of the bowls, just about. Them going over. Alabama, they don't have a good defense against the pass, but you can't stop them. And Ohio State, that's why I was surprised when I took Clemson over Ohio State that Clemson didn't score and got killed like that. That really surprised me. And then Ohio State doesn't show up against Alabama. Really surprised. I thought it would be, well, I knew it would be high scoring, but I thought it'd be a closer game. But when you get those type of games, that's why I just went over with it. It's like just score, and that's what happens. But this playoff is such a joke in college. Should be at least 8 teams. All your division winners should get in, and that's what happened. Notre Dame didn't belong. Sorry, Notre Dame fans, but you didn't beat anybody. Beating Clemson without their star quarterback and 4 starters is not like beating them with the quarterback. And when you played them with the quarterback, you got killed. The fact you held Alabama to 34 is great, but you only scored 10 points. And I think I gave you Alabama in that game, as I knew Notre Dame doesn't have the type of offense to beat them. You need a passing offense to beat Alabama. Running offense, they kill you. And that's exactly what happened there. A lot of coaching changes. I laugh at the Lions again because I used to work at Ford, and it's the same. They don't hire auto people to run the place. They hire guys from outside the industry. And in the football, they hire a general manager who's never been a general manager. Again, the same thing they did with the New England guy, had never been the GM. So you take a guy who's in scouting and you're making him the GM. Makes no sense. And then the coach has never coached before. First, I thought it was the Iowa State coach. I said, "Oh, well, that's a good move, getting the Iowa State coach." And then I see it's not Dan Campbell. The Iowa State coach is Matt Campbell. And I just had to laugh, like, who's Dan Campbell? And I looked, he's never coached before. You can't. Blue is blue. Blue's not yellow. So if you're looking for a blue or a coach and you try to plug it into yellow, it's not a blue. And the Lions have done that since 1959. They keep doing. They don't hire a coach with experience, very rarely. They don't hire a GM with experience, very rarely. It's just like the car company. So it's, I guess we keep we keep being able to bet against the Lions. This goes on for years and years and years as one of the best teams to bet against, and especially in a teaser. All these other coaching hierarchies, I've said for years that the Lions should have got Urban Meyer, and everybody, oh, no, he's not going to coach in the pros. Well, here he is at Jacksonville. Look for Jacksonville to make the playoffs next year. It's all about the coach. He took over for the Cincinnati coach. I can't think of his name. God, what's his name? Anyway, the guy coaching Cincinnati now is an Ohio State assistant coach who, when the other guy left for disciplinary reasons, Tressel. When Tressel left, this guy took over, and they weren't even 500. Now here comes Urban Meyer into a team that went like 5-5, And what does he do? He goes undefeated. It doesn't take him long because he motivates and he's so smart. And you look now. I'll tell you. I'll guarantee he will not draft Justin Fields. He's got the number one pick. It's either Trevor Lawrence or it's the kid from BYU. And it wouldn't surprise me if he takes the kid from BYU because he's got Utah connections. Trevor Lawrence is not the real deal, and just like I told you, Tagliabue is not very good, and he's not. He can't throw the ball for more than 5 yards. Um, in the must-win game, he doesn't show up. They get blown out at Buffalo, who doesn't even need the game and still kills them. Um, so I'm just saying he's not the real deal. I like the kid from BYU. I like the kid from Texas and the kid from SMU. Those are good quarterbacks. And I'll find others as I do more research. Um, but Justin Fields, I mean, look at the kid on Washington. They let him go. He was 50 touchdowns and 5 interceptions at Ohio State. Just the same. What was his name? I don't know why I forget this guy's name. Um, where is it? Oh, Dwayne Haskins. Right? So he's 50 touchdowns and 5 interceptions at Ohio State. Comes into Washington. He's got 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So where's the 50 touchdowns? It worked at Ohio State because it doesn't translate. Ohio State's offense does not translate in the NFL because they don't run the quarterback options and everything. Baltimore tries it and it works a little, but at the end of the day, when they play a good defense who's fast and they can cut the lanes and they blitz, it doesn't work. And so let's look at Lamar Jackson here. God, where is he? God, he's way down at the bottom. Uh, he only throws for 183 a game, 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and he's sacked 29 times. I mean, that's ridiculous. But he only throws for 26 touchdowns, and he throws 9 interceptions. But you only get 183 yards against them. And if they're down, like in Kansas City, like in Pittsburgh, like in the Buffalo game, forget about it. You don't have a chance. They need to start McSorley. He should be their quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Played extremely well at Penn State. I don't know what they're doing, why they're not playing him, and why. Here's where the definition of insanity comes in, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Well, this is now the third year you've had Lamar Jackson as your quarterback. In the playoffs, he got lucky to beat Tennessee because they had such a weak defense. He lost year one to San Diego, strong defense. He lost year two to Tennessee with a strong defense. And now he lost to Buffalo. Plus he loses to Kansas City and he loses to Pittsburgh all the time. So you got to forget these running quarterbacks who can't throw. Like Colin Kaepernick could throw the ball because this is the San Francisco offensive coordinator who had Colin Kaepernick. Where they would, it was new in the league running the option where you read the defensive end. Now it's all over the place. And Kaepernick could throw the ball. He was a good thrower. Lamar Jackson's a terrible passer. He can't, and he can only do it on a play action pass where he fakes the run, pulls up. It's like Oklahoma running the wishbone, right? When he faked to the fullback and then he starts running the option and then he pulls up. Yeah, the guy's wide open, so he looks like a star throwing the ball. That's how Lamar Jackson is. So it only works when you're in a running play, but put it on 3rd and 10 or look at the Buffalo game last week. Couldn't do anything. I mean, then they're blitzing him. They're waiting for him to pass, and he can't do it. He can't read he can't read a blitz. I mean, they're blitzing him, and he can't, hit the running back coming out of the backfield or the tight end. He wants to go back and set up. They're blitzing you. You can't do that. What are you doing? So, I mean, these are the problems with these type of running backs. So, again, back to Urban Meyer, I look for at least a 10 to 12 wins next year from him. Keep in mind, this is the pros, and all pro teams have talent. They all have NFL talent. It gets way blown out of proportion. They need a quarterback. They don't need a quarterback. It's been proven. You run teams won with Trent Dilfer, okay, one of the worst quarterbacks ever, and they won a Super Bowl with him. So it's not about the quarterback. You can paint it all you want. You had Drew Brees, he won one Super Bowl. You had Peyton Manning, he really won one Super Bowl. The other one was won by the defense, and he's still getting that. Seattle scored another touchdown on him in that other game. Um, it's not the quarterback that wins. You win with defense and running the ball. That's how you win Super Bowls. The quarterback's nice to have. Tom Brady won because New England. He only won when New England had a strong defense, and the running was just simply tosses to Edelman or White out of the backfield. Those were the running plays, so they were able to do that. But basically, um, the only years New England won was when they had a real strong defense. You don't have a strong defense, you're never winning, and you don't have a running game, you're never winning. So that's a lot of what it is to win. So it's not really the quarterback, but Urban Meyer will bring in. He'll bring in that Ohio State defense. I'm sure he'll draft 4 or 5 guys off Ohio State and make trades for them, free agents. He'll basically be Ohio State at Jacksonville, and he'll bring in he'll get a good. The quarterback he drafts will be a good one, and I don't know if it'll be Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know how good Trevor Lawrence is going to be. He might be okay with Ohio State's offense. So is he going to go to a strict Ohio State offense where the quarterback runs a lot, and are we going to see the same one we see at Ohio State or not? Probably. I would guess yes, but then the problem is when the quarterback gets hurt, and he will. Now you're down to the third string quarterback. You don't have a chance. So that's why most teams don't have too much of a running quarterback. They know he's going to get hurt. But their defense will be much improved. Their running a game will be much improved. Their whole talent level will be much improved. I look for a 10-win season from Jacksonville next year, and then a playoff the next year. And Urban gets the players to play. They play very well, very strong. That's the difference. The Lions get some guy who's never coached before, and here's Urban Meyer, wins national titles. You know he can coach. What the hell? Who would you want? And that's just the difference in philosophies and teams. So I look for Jacksonville to do well. These other ones, I don't know. They keep bringing in GMs who are good in the draft. What the hell does that mean? So they should be in the draft room. I'm good in the draft. I would never be a GM. I'd be a draft guy. That's where I fit. I can spot talent. That's how I'm successful picking games. I'm looking at the talent, telling you Jared Goff's a choker, and what does he do? He chokes. And then I bet a lot on Green Bay against the Rams and get the W, where I know who the stars are, and I'm betting on Tom Brady this week because he's Tom freaking Brady. So you got to read the talent, and that's what I do so well. Anyway, that's what's happening. I'll be back with a Super Bowl pick. Should be a good Super Bowl. My first inclination was Green Bay and Kansas City again, like Super Bowl one. Now I don't know. With Mahomes' injury, I could easily see either Green Bay or Tampa Bay playing Buffalo. If you watch my video in the beginning of the year, I said Buffalo will go to the Super Bowl next year with Jake Fromm. And here they might go to the Super Bowl this year with Josh Allen, who, see, you bring in Jake Fromm to compete, and all of a sudden Josh Allen plays out of his mind. He's still not as good as Jake Fromm. You give Jake Fromm the reins, and they would win the Super Bowl next year. That's how good he is and the team is. I don't quite get, not giving him a chance. But I do agree they didn't play him this year. First year should be watch. If you can afford to watch them, let them watch, and then maybe they should have got him in the last game when they're up 40-0 I don't know why Jake Fromm didn't play, but um, he's better than Josh Allen. So if they would get him in, just like Baltimore, if they bring in McSorley, Trace McSorley is much better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. So if they would let him play, it's sort of like Washington had Kirk Cousins and they drafted RG3, and Kirk Cousins was the better quarterback. He's a choker anyway. He's not great, but you can see RG3 again did do he couldn't do anything. These running quarterbacks. All right. Anyway, Teaser King signing off. Hope for a couple of winners for you for this weekend. Enjoy the playoffs and have a great weekend. All right, everybody. Take care. Again, it's www.teaserking.com. If you need me, send me an email and we can discuss whatever. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.